A lot of people don't realize that when you are trading on very small time frames, number one, you tend to have smaller stop losses, so you probably use bigger leverage. Bigger transaction volume equals bigger commissions and fees, right? And then smaller stop losses also result in spread being much more significant.
But you can actually just see, I wanted to show you the average hold time again on this over here. Average hold time, 6 hours, 2 hours, so yeah, 6 hours.
That's a lot longer than what we're used to.
Yeah, I mean,
Used to seeing from 3-minute James.
Yeah, 3 minutes. That's not only in trading.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Challenge Accepted podcast. We are extremely excited to be starting a new year, 2025, here with you guys, here with my co-host, James Bruce, on what's been a really, really fun journey that we started. I think I like to look back a little bit at 2024, and I definitely think that, starting this podcast, for Hydra has definitely been one of the highlights, I would say, of my calendar. I look forward to creating these podcast episodes, always look forward to having a chat with James.
Yeah.
And in today's episode, we are starting the new year off with a bang because James, as you guys who followed along know, has been, trying to pass a Hydra challenge for a while. And, just as a quick follow-up, the previous video is actually a very interesting one where we talk about risk management, when it comes to prop firm challenges. So for those of you that, have watched the previous episodes, how James is approaching prop firm challenges. He takes a more aggressive professional approach. We'll have the link in the description if you want to go through an in-depth risk management strategy for how to pass prop firm challenges. Click that link below. Go and watch that episode of the podcast. It was a very, very good one. But I think that today is a great follow-up to that because James has just passed phase 1 of his Hydra Funding 2-phase challenge and is currently up over 2% on phase 2. So we thought that this would be a great way to start off the year. Firstly, by celebrating a small win for James. We're job's not finished, but we've made good progress here. And we'd love to kind of dig into a little bit of his trading stats today. Take a look at maybe his Tradezella, maybe take a look at his Hydra Dashboard so that he can show you the example of how his risk management parameters have played a part in him passing this challenge and how he's starting to continue to maintain, try to keep his foot on the gas and continue to pass phase 2, right? So before I hand it off to James, I'll give you guys a quick little recap based on his strategy, just a rough outline. Again, if you want to watch that video, link is in the description below. So James takes a more aggressive approach, especially on phase 1, right? We know that, he has the ability to take up to 2+%, 3% even risk aggressively on phase 1. And he kind of tapers down that risk in phase 2, and especially in the funded phase, because that's where the real money counts, and he wants to keep that account alive. Yeah. So I'm going to let James take it away. James, please give us a little bit of an intro into your phase 1 trading. Let's talk about some trades. Let's get into the details for the viewers here.
Yeah, always good to be on with you, DUR. But I think, first of all, this is actually the first 2-phase challenge that I've done with you guys. I was always doing the one phase, and I was like, I think maybe I was getting too caught up in maybe, the one phase you only have to pass once. But for me, maybe it didn't work with my aggressive approach style because you only have the 6% drawdown compared to the 9%. And that does make a big difference, definitely in the drawdown levels, of course. So this is the first 2 phase that I'm doing, and I obviously passed phase 1 and now we're obviously on to phase 2. So we can go over my phase 1 stats. As you can see, 50K counts. So I made the 8% that was required. My trade win percentage, 70.59%. Daily win percentage, 87.5%. And my average win to loss ratio actually surprised me, 2.41. And I'll speak about maybe why that could be a little bit of a, better. But and I had 6 winning days in a row to end. And my max losing days in a row was only 1, worst streak was 1. So these are all the stats from Tradezella. You can see it's my C-Trader account. I'm trading on C-Trader. I must say, I love MetaTrader 5, but C-Trader is is pretty neat. I mean, I'm literally executing all my trades. Actually, I don't do it on a copy or nothing. I've been executing it on C-Trader, on my live streams and everything like that on ASFX TV. And C-Trader is pretty neat. It's got Renko charts, it's got Heiken-Ashi charts, it's got everything that tick charts, it's got everything you need. And the executions are really neat. It's got the built-in risk manager as well. So very, very neat. I can actually bring up my C-Trader over here. This is my current phase 2 now account on C-Trader, and I'm really, really enjoying. I mean, I'd never used C-Trader before, taking accounts with Hydra, and it's very, very neat. You can see I was actually shorting Euro JPY last night, and I'm currently sitting at 51,172. So I'm up just over 2%, 2.2%, call it, on phase 2 at the moment, and I'll get those stats up. But very, very neat.
Yeah, the phase 2 is a 5% profit target, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So that's like a $2,500, right?
$2,500. Yes,
Of
so I'm
profits.
almost
You're
halfway.
looking for to get past.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome progress. I 100% agree on the C-Trader thing, because I started trading Forex on MT and I didn't know about C-Trader, but when I started using it, I was like, oh my God, this software is what MT should be.
Yep.
And I think, no, I mean, numbers guy, right? Like I can tell you that currently, after the whole prop firm fiasco and MetaTrader pulling out, we did manage to get MT back. We're one of the few firms that actually have offered MT again. We actually, even now, after we offered MT again, we realized that there's been a shift because less than 15% of our accounts are now on MetaTrader when it used to be the opposite. It was like 85%,
I'm not surprised. And also that your liquidity provider you have mentioned on the podcast before, the better one is with C-Trader because you're pulling it from regular. I enjoy C-Trader.
Yeah, with Hydra, I can't speak to other firms that I don't know what kind of LPs or what kind of liquidity they got running. But how our C-Trader, we use GUI Trade, which is a very prop specific platform essentially that aggregates institutional liquidity. So it's really, really institutional liquidity that you're trading with, and anyone that's trading on a Hydra C-Trader, Match Trader, DX Trade, as long as you're not using MT, we have institutional liquidity, and you'll know that like the executions, the spreads, even when you're executing large volumes, I can tell you that they're top notch. And it's one of the reasons why like I'm so proud of our product, because I know that if you trade within this experience, you're probably going to have a pretty good time. But yeah, like today's going to be about James. I really want to get into and dissect these stats a little bit.
I know you
want to start you off somewhere, which is for the viewers that have been around, they know that your average RR from how you've been trading last year is actually less than 1.
Yes.
Right. So it seems like, you've managed to, and it's a very small sample size,
of course.
And obviously like, there's been some run good here, but the fact that the 2.41 RR, is there, that signifies a very big change in your own trading. Right. So can we start there and dissect that a little bit? And do you think is a big reason of why you were able to pass this phase 1 within 6 days?
I think probably the biggest reason is I've been actually taking a little less of a day trading or scalping approach, more actually a whatever you want to call it, day trading, intraday. I'm holding it for more than 6 hours, my trades. My stop losses have been a little bit larger, and I can actually go to the report section here on this account and go to the overview section, and you can actually see over here. So my average hold time is 8 hours and 39 minutes overall. And for my winning trades, that's 7 hours and 5 minutes. My losing trades, 12 hours and 26 minutes. My average winning day was $643. My average losing day was $483. So you can see I'm not really scalping for a couple of ticks now. I'm literally holding it for a couple of hours. And I think that could be something that has helped me in my own for this phase 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, we talked about this a little bit off camera as well. Like this adjustment for you, has it been the same setups, but you're just more open to holding it through the day? Or has there been kind of a fundamental change in your entry?
It's the same setups. It's just on a little bit of a higher time frame. So instead of looking at the 5 and 2 minute charts, I'm looking at the 15-minute charts mostly. Yeah. So I'm not really even looking at anything below the 15-minute chart anymore, which obviously is going to slow things down, right? And I was actually, the thought process came from obviously listening to you. Also, I was like, where do I want to be this year in 2025? I'm obviously going to be a dad in actually less than a month now. So I was like, I want to really slow things down. I can't be, trying to scalp for a couple of ticks each and every, and just slowing it down. And that's where this kind of strategy idea came about. It's like, I want to just slow it down, have more time to think in my trades. And I know also I think we'll speak, when would we speak about this? But also, the more you actually trade, the more you're actually having to pay commissions and spreads and everything like that. So I was like, let me just look. I saw some of my spreads in my personal account last year and it was chewing me up, on some days where I was over trading. I was like, yes, I managed to scrape a break even, but I paid quite a bit in just, trading commissions, trading expenses. So yeah, that just wanting to slow things down a little bit.
Yeah, I 100% feel you on that front. Myself, I went from executing the minutes time frames last year, also shifting over to 1 hour entries now. And I feel like that 1 hour entry allows me to have just so much more freedom.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing I've noticed is freedom. But we are talking challenges. We are talking, stats today, and the commissions is a big part.
It is.
A lot of people don't realize that when you are trading on very small time frames, number one, you tend to have smaller stop losses, so you probably use bigger leverage. Bigger transaction volume equals bigger commissions and fees, right? And then smaller stop losses also result in spread being much more significant, right? Like, let's just take an example of, let's say, if spread is 1 pip, right, on a currency pair, and your stop loss is only 10 pips, right? That's a 10% increase. That's basically you getting charged 10%. Like, if you lose, you're going to lose 10% more, right? That's significant, right? 10% more on every loss, right? 10% more on every loss is a very significant, potentially edge-changing thing in the long run, especially if you do take a lot of break-evens. Those will definitely start to add up, right? Because if every break-even you're losing 0.1 to 0.2 R, right, that's a full loss every 5 to 10 trades. So that really starts to add up. And what I've realized, and I think we've talked about this so many times before, is that like one of the pleasures of switching over to a little bit higher time frame means less stress about spread, less commissions. And James, do you think that this potentially is an even better way to trade prop firm challenges? Do you feel like there is enough, do you feel like, given the variety of different trading conditions that maybe across different prop firms, maybe you want something less volatile?
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to see how it goes in this year. I think I'm going to commit to doing this for 2025. And if I have better results, then of course, for me, I think I really, obviously, it's come off to a nice start. So everyone's going to be different, but I've got to take what other people are saying. And they're always, like Salza, on the guy who withdrew, what did he withdraw? 45K, like on
45,000, yeah.
Yeah, go watch that video as well. Like, he was saying that he mostly looks at the high time frames. So I was like, okay, well, that guy's pulling out profits like that. I definitely got to listen. So you can actually see something interesting. 17 trades. I mean, I could take 17 trades in one day. So I passed it in 17 trades, 12 winners, 5 losers. And something actually interesting, if I go to my instrument, look what my best traded instrument was. Bitcoin. I don't think
that's an interesting one.
I don't think I've ever traded Bitcoin on an intraday basis. And then obviously after that podcast, I was like, well, let me go check it out. And I was like, I think I had a nice run up. It was about 3 or 4 days ago. And I caught that Bitcoin just over, I think it popped over 102K. And that's where I made my 3% on the Bitcoin trade. And then I've obviously my DAX, and then I've got a little bit of currency pair still in here, and then the S&P 500. So I traded one trade on the Nikkei, which was a break even. But yeah, mostly that Bitcoin what I traded on phase 1. So yeah.
All right, we definitely got some new sauce coming in at the start of 2025.
Yeah.
Obviously, these stats are amazing. Maybe you can pull up the Hydra Dashboard.
Yep.
If we could take a look at just like the overall equity curve, how that moved for you, so people kind of have like an understanding of, when was your first trade taken to like when phase 1 was completed. Sure. And then we'll go a little bit into like, we'll look at that equity curve. I think we can take a look at that and then apply your risk management parameters on top of it and see how that's affected the equity curve, right? I think from that we can probably find out and see a little bit more on the overview of the challenge, and then maybe we can also get into the phase 2 account afterwards, just to see that trajectory. But I really want to dive a little bit deeper into how that equity curve is forming, because I'm sure you took a couple of losses also on the account, right? It wasn't just like straight run or win up. So I'd love to, see that curve. And I think it's going to be very helpful contextually for the viewers who have watched last episode, are maybe open to taking a little bit more of an aggressive approach, to trading. This is the kind of equity curve on the plus side that you can experience. But again, a reminder to those of you that want to be more aggressive with the challenges, right? James has spare capital set aside to take multiple shots. When he's looking to get funded, he's ready to take multiple shots, and that's how he gets aggressive.
Yeah.
All right. Just
my plan
for you guys.
Yeah, my plan for this Hydra 50K account is to get over the line on phase 2, and then I want to trade it the whole year, and then take like a nice big payout, 10K plus at the end of the year. So we'll see on a 50K account if I can make 20% in the year, 10%, 20% in the year for trading it, and I can take out a 10K payout on it. I'll be stoked with that. So yeah.
Oh yeah. And you have the rest of the year to accumulate capital
Exactly
as well. Right.
Yep.
That's the exciting thing is like, hey, we now have a whole trading year ahead of us. The last two weeks of Christmas, New Year's, nothingness is gone. Volume is back. We can all trade.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you got a whole year. It's exciting, man, because we're on a very similar journey, and yeah, let's dive into the stats. Run us through, bro.
Yeah, so this is obviously what you guys were seeing. It was the Tradezella dashboard. This is the actual dashboard from Hydra. Obviously, very neat, very easy to understand. You can see profit target completed. I've got to make 54,000. That was obviously just over. And then it actually, the thing I like about it is it clearly shows where your daily loss limit is and your max total loss limit is. Obviously stays static the whole time, right, at 9%. But you can see over here, same stats. Number of trades, 12 trades, 12 won, 5 losers. Highest performing instrument, Bitcoin. Lowest performing instrument, I told you I took one trade, which was break even on the Nikkei. So yeah, really neat. How many days days since start? 34. So it took me 34 days to actually complete the challenge. So just over a month to make the
and
8%.
So I'm just looking at the equity curve right here. We see that at the beginning there were some dips, right? Like October 5th, there was a small dip.
Yeah.
There was that the break even, or did you take a loss on that day?
I'm sure I took a loss on that day. We can confirm. I can actually go to the let's go to the different.
Maybe we can sort by profit, like the biggest negative profit. Let's take a look at the bottom. If you just scroll all the way to the bottom, I think you can click on the profit column.
There we go. No.
Yeah, and then the profit column, and then we can sort by negatives. We'll take a look at your losers. Right. So,
yep.
Yeah, just for those of you guys trading Hydra challenges, like this is a good way. If you're not using some type of tracking software, I would highly recommend Tradezella. There's others out there, but I personally use Tradezella. James uses it. But if you don't want to pay for a membership, honestly, like the Hydra backend has a decent amount of data for you to just take a look at and examine if you want to run through manually. Like, for example, right now, I want to take a look at the losses that James took.
Yeah, so,
right, so we have...
Yep. Biggest loss.
We have losses. So the losses were pretty small.
Yeah.
Right? The losses aren't even 1%, right? There's a 50K account. The 1% loss would be $500 over here. So, were the losses smaller here? Like, how much were you risking per trade, or were you risking actually smaller on these? How did we end up at a $200 loss?
I
these trades.
I never took anything on this account. I never took any trade less than a 1% risk. I always was between 1 and 3% risk. So but obviously because I'm trading with a wider stop loss, I could have been like, oh, this is moving against me. It's down 0.2R, 3R, but I don't like it, and I probably just pulled it. I'm assuming what happened on this day. This was on the 6th of December. So yes, I did start out actually with a loss, and then on the first trade on the DAX German 40, right? So yeah, I think that's probably something that also does, and you can see I was actually in this trade for 5 hours. So as DY was saying, if you don't have Tradezella, you don't pay for Tradezella, you can use a Hydra dashboard. You get basically a built-in trade journal as well that you can come and actually analyze your trading statistics, right? Let's just actually go to open date here. So this was my first trade that I took here, DY. So I started this on the 3rd of December, 2024, and I started out with a slight basically a break even -$3, and then a winner. And then I had 2 losers on the DAX, on the Nikkei and the DAX. You can see, okay.
Yeah, but I love that you've kept the losers small, right? Like I think that's a very big, let's say, advantage I can admit to discretionary trading, meaning like you have some control over your losers, meaning you don't always take full loss, right? For me, a full loss is however much I decide to risk, that's going to be the loss, no matter what. Like I don't change my stop loss ever, unless I'm moving it to break even. So, you were able to keep, if you were risking 1 to 3% per trade and your losers are, less than 0.5%, I would say, that's pretty successful management, right? You have the opposite of successful management, which is people let their losers just keep losing and they take
Yep.
huge losses.
Which
So this is definitely a sign that
I can be susceptible to at times, particularly when I was trading on a smaller time frames. That's why I do like this. Something interesting, just look at this, is on the 3rd of December, I started it. I didn't trade every single day. I traded on the 3rd, the 5th, the 6th, the 9th, again on the 12th, then I took a break and was only on the 17th and 18th again. So just to let you guys know, and then look at this. I took my last trade for 2024 was on the 18th of December. Then I took my next trade only on the 2nd of January. So I'm not trading. I didn't trade this at all every single day. As you can see, I only had 12 trading days, I think it was, that I actually passed this in. So this is just something that I think I need to be better at in 2025 is sometimes I feel that you need to take a trade every single day, and that's actually not the case. I think that zooming out also allows you, like if it's not a setup on the 15-minute chart, I'm not even interested on it. Whereas like sometimes the low time frames can be a vortex. I don't know if you felt that when you're trading like on the low time.
Oh yeah,
time
definitely.
because like obviously like you're looking at so many more candlesticks, so you're gonna be like, oh, geez, yeah, of course it's the setup. Of compared to being zoomed out a little bit.
Been there, my bro. Been there. Absolutely been there. Yeah, I mean, I really like what I'm seeing on the stats so far. Maybe let's take a look at your winners. Like, let's take a look at because we now know that your average loser here on these stats, very small, right? About 0.5% on the account for the losers. So what did the winners look like for us to get like a 2 point something RR?
Yeah, biggest winner was
2.45
was about 2.2%. Biggest winner 2.2%.
Yeah, so that was one that you just let run.
Yep.
Right? That was
Over
one
a
that you
day.
just let
Look at
run.
that.
This is over a day. That's not the James that I know. What have you done?
No. Well, yeah, dude. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's like when you got your new Golf, your new driver. It's just all of a sudden you're automatically a better golfer, right? It's like when
I
holding my
just bought a
trades,
new
somebody's
driver.
doing it.
It fixed my entire golf game. I
Yeah.
told James like that driver now allows me to start at -10 every time. C-box, I'm
Yeah.
already -10.
Yeah.
All right, that's how that works. That's how that works, guys. That's how my handicap's coming down this year. I'm gonna start at -10. Man, I mean, honestly, like a lot of times, I feel like there's so many crossovers between golf and trading. Even when it comes to adjusting your strategy, I almost feel like you're probably never done. Like optimizing, especially on the discretionary trading side. You're always looking to improve your overall performance. It's a lot like being an athlete for really any sport, but really like the toll here and the competition is mental, right?
Yes.
That's we're all competing on the same field. But the great thing is I'm not really competing against you. You're not competing against me. We're all competing against ourselves. Like James being able to extract money out the market doesn't reduce my chances of being able to extract money from the market.
Exactly.
That's what I love about trading.
I do want to pull this up here just for obviously always transparency's sake. Let's go here. Look here. I failed 1, 2, 3, 4 challenge. No, 3 challenges before this. On here, 1, 2. I've still got that one active. So 1, 2, 3. I failed 3 before this, and those are all 1-step assessments. And now I've obviously got my 2-step assessment, and here's the phase 2. So we can actually come here to the dashboard of the phase 2 as well. And currently I'm up $1,172. I've got to make 2,500. So I'm just under halfway there. Okay, so
that's interesting because I see that over there your equity line was lower than your balance line for a bit. So that signifies to me that you held a little bit through drawdown on a certain trade.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was actually this past night. It was actually it was on Euro JPY shorts. I really like the setup. I can actually maybe bring up my charts as well. I really like the setup. I was down maybe just under 2%. I was down like $800 on the account on the trade. But you can actually see I actually end up closing for a nice winner. Yeah. Let's go over here. Sorry, let's go to open date. Like that. There we go. There we go. Euro JPY, $419 and then $161. And then, So
you ended up netting like over 1% on that trade.
Yeah. So I ended up holding through drawdown. Let me actually bring up our charts here again on TradingView. and explain why I liked it. So I wonder how long I actually held that trade for. I actually still do like it for shorts, but basically I entered later last night. Over here, I entered as we were under. Remember, we've also got a podcast episode on my favorite indicators, and I like the previous day's highs and lows. We were trading underneath the previous day's lows, and I liked it just on a hourly time frame, on a 15-minute time frame. We're trading now underneath that 200 EMA, which is this white EMA coming across my screen. And I said to myself, you know what? Stuff it. I'm gonna execute my trade and I'm gonna go to bed. And obviously I held it through the drawdown. I entered at about 163, maybe 163 on the dot, 163 100. Obviously went up to 163 500, and that's where I held through the drawdown. But then end up getting out here at previous day's lows for that.
Yeah, taking out the previous lows over there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks solid. That's solid. And go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it still looks pretty nice for continued shorts, but obviously today is actually a USD bank holiday. So I was like, let me just, take it and we'll come back Friday. Yeah. So I think for me also, like, I know that I've got my stop losses in place. Like I was already up on the account, right? So on this phase 2, I was already up like 1%. So I was like, if I lose 2%, 3% on this trade, I'll still only be down 2% with a 9% drawdown. So that's why I was comfortable holding through the equity. And if it came and stopped me out, my stop, I think, was just above this level on the swing high on the 15-minute time frame, which it didn't take me out. If it takes me out, I was in the wrong trade anyway. I was wrong, Yeah.
So how are you managing? So are you stepping down the risk per trade on this phase 2? I know in the strategy video we discussed that, right? Risk starting to come down. So you were doing 1 to 3% on the phase 1. So what are you looking at on phase 2? Are you still being aggressive currently, or are you looking to scale that back a little bit?
1 to 2% I'll do on phase 2. I'm still comfortable with that. And then when I go to the live account, I'll probably risk 0.5 to 1%. That's normally how I step it down in the phases.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm comfortable on the especially now that I'm up 2.2%, sometimes I might even play with it. I might get like a really nice fat pitch and be like, I really love this trade, and I might just risk the full 3% to make the 5% profit target.
Yeah.
It just depends. But then once I do get to the live account, I'm not really doing that on the live account.
Yeah. And I think this is a little bit insight strategically, right? We've talked about this on the previous episode, the theory on the strategy side, and now, like today, you've literally seen James's equity curves. We've talked about specific trades, how he's managing some changes to his current trading system on kind of holding and letting things run through a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see the data on that, in the coming year as we continue to do reviews, because this is still a small sample size. So we don't know if this is something that's going to, let's say, work out like really well for James. He could find like an even bigger edge here, or it could just kind of be a nothing. Also, we kind of have to be, as a trader, you have to be open to both sides of that. We all can go through periods where, let's say we run a little bit good, but we can't you can't get ahead of yourself, and be like, oh, like this is, like, I'm going to smash it, fucking 70% win rate and a 2.5 RR. I'm going to turn $100 into $1 billion.
Yeah.
Which, we all have that pitfall. But yeah, I think, for those of you that are watching today's episode and have been following the podcast for a while, I think we talk a lot about collecting data and letting that impact your decision making. And a significant thing about data is sample size. But I love the start that you've gotten off to end of last year, heading into this year. The stats look amazing. And I'd love to see if you're able to get that RR bumped up while not sacrificing too much win rate. I really think that there's potential room for you there.
Yeah.
Additional profits that you could squeeze out.
Agreed. Yeah. So this is obviously on the Tradezella side of things, and you can see obviously I got something very nice, and I did make a video on this on the Hydra phase 1. So make sure to go check my YouTube out, because I do have a separate video going out exactly going over my stats, basically what we've done here. But
yeah, we'll link that also in the description.
Thank you. Yeah. What I really was quite impressed by is, as soon as I passed, and I did tweet about this, as soon as I passed phase 1, I literally within 2 minutes, not even actually, I think it was a minute, I got my phase 2 credentials. I got, well done, James, you passed phase 1, and then I got my phase 2 credentials instantly. I actually took a trade on it on that Monday just to see, okay, shit, is this really the account? That's why it was such actually a small trade. Just to test. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, I got it pretty quickly, which is very nice. That's what we want as prop firm traders, guys that are trading with prop firms. I mean, I'm seeing some guys that are going with prop firms that you're having to wait like 4 days, 5 days just to get your phase two. I'm like, dude, that's like that's honestly, that's just poor. If you are with a prop firm that's doing that. So that was a really big ups to Hydra and you guys for doing that. And if you want to go check that video out, it is going to come out probably next week. I'm waiting for my editors to finalize things and everything like that. Make the thumbnail nice, get my bald head looking smooth and shiny. And then you guys can go check that video out. But yeah, it's been a nice, I think, just slowing things down. If I also just go to my report section, so you can see there's kind of like a constant that I am trading here. If I go to my instrument, I'm trading mainly Euro, Yen, S&P, DAX is probably my most popular ticker. And then I am also looking at the S&P 500. So that's kind of been like what I've been, and then Bitcoin as well, which I'm obviously still new to trading. So I haven't traded on this account yet. But you can actually just see, I wanted to show you the average hold time again on this over here. Average hold time, 6 hours. So yeah, 6 hours.
That's a lot longer than what we're used to.
Yeah, I mean,
used to seeing from 3-minute James.
Yeah, 3 minutes. That's not only in trading. Yeah, this is a lot better performance. 6 hours. Geez.
I don't think anybody would be complaining about a 6-hour performance. If anything, it might be a little bit long, James. Might have to cut that down a little bit.
Excuse the pun, but yes. No, I mean it's a lot different to what I want to, but I'm really liking and enjoying growing into this. So it's going to be cool. And by the way, when do you get your certificate with Hydra? Only when you pass both phases?
Yeah, so we only issue one for passing, like getting funded, right?
Yep.
So we only offer a certificate. We don't do a gold star sticker consolation prize, right? Either you pass or you don't.
Yep.
We congratulate you when you get funded, which makes sense. And we congratulate you when you make a withdrawal. So those are the 2 points. Once you pass your phase 2, you will have the certificates within your trader dashboard.
Nice. Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be pretty cool. And then, as I said, I think my goal for this is to actually not take a payout immediately. My goal is to take a payout, and I'll continue making video on this, but probably take a payout maybe in June, and then again in December.
Which, by the way, cool thing about Hydra accounts, we do this where a lot of other firms don't do it, is once you get funded, if you have multiple funded accounts, you can request for them to be merged.
Nice.
So for example, if James passes this 50K, but they have to be the same phase, right? So you can't do a phase 1 and merge with a phase 2 because the drawdown is different. But for same parameter plans, for example, if James, let's say, passes a 50K and then goes and does a 100K challenge, passes that as well, we can merge those 2 accounts for you together so that you can trade it as one single 150K account. We do this on a case-by-case basis, so you have to request it through support, but we do offer this as a convenience thing. We don't do it as a standard because some traders want to trade their accounts separately.
Yes.
But some traders also just want to accumulate capital into one account. So you can merge all of your accounts, together up to $1 million. So if you could do 10 different, past 10 different 100K challenges, merge them into a $1 million account. So we definitely offer that. And another cool thing, by the way, I almost forgot. I think this is the first place that I'm saying that this is being broadcast because I don't think the announcement officially has gone out yet. So only the team knows and our support agents know about this. But we've just launched our scaling plan as well.
Wow.
So you can now scale your account up to $5 million. There are some parameters. There are some things that you have to tick. It's like a 6-month review process. So you have to make a certain percentage. I don't have the numbers right off the bat here. We have a whole kind of like data sheet, but that announcement will be coming out soon. But essentially, if you meet the criteria over the course of, I think it's 6 months, we will double your account. We will double your account size. So if you have $1 million in funding, right, which is the current cap, we will double it. So you can have $1 million and then go up to 2 million. And this scaling plan goes all the way up to 5 million. We'll double you all the way up to a maximum 5 million. Every 6 months is the review date. So that's something that we've gotten a request from other traders. We're a little bit more sure in the industry now, and we're rolling this out as a feature to encourage traders, that want to. We really are looking for consistent performance. You want to know the criteria for qualifying. It's going to be consistency, like no wild volatility swings up and down, in your account. We're not looking for these traders that are coming in to, take full size bets on their account. We're really looking for people that understand how to make steady profits and are able to control the risk side and the downside of things. And if you give us a time period of 6 months of good performance, boom, your account can be doubled up to 5 million
That's pretty
total AUM.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's again, that's just something completely, you don't pay extra for it. It's available to everyone. So as long as you can prove your consistency based on those rules, you're going to be able to scale your account to much bigger heights with us, because we want to encourage this kind of long-term positive trading behavior in the firm. And this is one of the things that we're rolling out to kick off 2025. The announcements will be coming soon. I'm sorry, I don't have the details right here with me, but our support team already know about it. So if you're trading an account, or if you're already funded with Hydra and you're interested in understanding how to scale your account, just drop a message to our support chat on our website, or send an email to support@hydrafunding.io. Ask them about the scaling plan, and they'll be able to give you the details. But that announcement should be coming out within days of this video going out. Actually, it's coming out sometime in January. So maybe it's already been out. But yeah, that's something that we're really excited to celebrate for this year. And it's definitely a win, I think, for the traders that are already trading with us and already funded with us. I think they're going to be very happy to hear about this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think James it's getting close. I don't want to jinx it, right? But I think James is making solid progress to becoming funded with us, and that's gonna be a nice journey, because we've been on this journey with James for the last couple of last like 6 months or so.
Yeah, 6 months or so.
And I'm excited to see you getting close to the goal, my brother.
100%, dude. I'm looking forward to it. That's pretty cool. As I said, my plan for the Hydra account is, once I get it funded, I'm going to take it slow and steady, and I want to take a nice payout maybe in June, and maybe get that scaling plan, and then again at the end of the year. So that would be quite cool if I can take like two nice payouts of maybe like 10K each. That would be pretty neat. Yeah. So, and then that's only on one account. Maybe I get another few other accounts crossed over the line as well.
Yeah, you can definitely look to scale things up now. Yeah. Via the multiple plans, and then potentially even via the scaling plan. But the scaling plan just takes a little bit longer. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing all the stats today, James. It's been very insightful. I'm looking at a beautiful day here in Bangkok currently. As you guys maybe noticed, my setup is a little bit different. I'm in Bangkok. Things are awesome. The weather is amazing. It's raining every day in Bali, and I have no desire to be in that shit show. So I'm out here in Bangkok.
Yeah, in Bangkok, it's definitely a little bit shorter than 6 hours of holding time.
You can take multiple trades a day though, so that's different markets, different trades. Yeah, you got your pick, bro. But I'm looking at a beautiful day. I'm gonna wrap this up, get outside, enjoy the beautiful weather for a little bit. But as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If we haven't said this yet, Happy New Year to everyone, and we have a lot more exciting, fun content, coming up. James and I did a little brainstorming and planning earlier this week, and we have some cool guests to bring aboard. We definitely have more in store, and I hope that this was a good little positive note for not just James and myself, but you guys, to start the year with a little bit of encouragement. Watching someone you're familiar with starting to pass these challenges, I think that's always a good place to start the year. So thank you guys for tuning in. James, you want to leave the viewers with anything before we go?
No, I'm looking forward to it. Next podcast, we'll go over my phase 2 getting funded, and then I'm looking forward to continue sharing it. If you want to watch my journey,
I like the sound of that.
Go check my YouTube out as well. I've got these independent videos with Hydra as well that are showing my stats more in depth, whatever, just like we've done here, but maybe just over just my thought process on it, and my experience with Hydra as well. So go check that out.
Yeah, if you can't get enough of a bald guy talking about trading, The link is in the description. Go and subscribe to James's YouTube channel as well. And we look forward to bringing you more fire content in 2025. See you guys in the next one. Peace.